Levis, whose jeans are a rugged symbol of Americana, prepares to go public. The maker of denim and Dockers will start trading this week, a milestone for a 165-year-old company that has experienced a resurgence in the past decade. In San Francisco, where startups dream of populating the world with self-driving cars and robots, another breed of company is aiming for riches this week. Levi Strauss & Company. The maker of denim and Dockers, which traces its roots to the California gold rush, Levis is expected to start trading on the public markets on Thursday for the second time in its 165-year history. The listing is a Levis, some say, might even be cool again. It took them time, but they've been able to restore a lot of brand equity, said Marie Driscoll, a managing director who covers fashion and luxury at Coresight Research. They have their authentic this week's stock offering, which the company anticipates will raise more than $100 million, is an accomplishment for the chief executive, Charles V. Berg, and highlights Levis' ambitions to expand its apparel lines both in the United States and worldwide. Shares of the company, Levis, which invented the blue jean in 1873, is woven into America's history. Once the uniform, new teenage retailers, streetwear companies, and low-cost private labels started to eat into its market share. Designer jeans. While the company was bumping along, it began a full-fledged makeover in 2011 with the appointment of Mr. Berg, who is known as Chip and joined Levis after nearly 3 decades at Procter & Gamble. Under him, now Levis U, which falls between the Gap brand and Ralph Lauren in terms of sales, U is looking to regain the sales it attained in the 90s, when its revenue exceeded $7 billion. The company declined to comment for this article, citing restrictions ahead of its stock offering. Levis has a long history. Levi Strauss, the reason they were patenting this, and a huge part of advertisements around that time, was that they made the pants more durable, said Emma McClendon, Associate Curator of Costume at the Museum at Fashion Institute of Technology. So you could put jeans started to become mainstream garments in the 1920s and 30s with the rise of Hollywood westerns, dude ranch vacations and romanticized images of cowboys. In the 60s, Mr. Strauss died without children in 1902 and he left the company to his nephews. Family members. The company first listed its shares in the 1970s, but was taken private in 1985 through a leveraged buyout led by descendants of Levi Strauss, the Haas family. To take a longer term, Levis expects to sell $500 million to $675 million of stock in its return to the public markets. Much of the proceeds. Levis brought in $5.6 billion in sales last year with a net profit of $285 million. That's an increase. Mr. Berg, 61, was involved with the integration of Gillette after Procter & Gamble's $57 billion of the brand in 2005 and has viewed the turnaround of Levis as his opportunity to leave a legacy. When he joined the business, he set out to address very fundamental issues, he said last year, pointing to a stalled brand and debt-burdened balance sheet. There wasn't a clear strategy, he said. We hadn't been in. Related video how Made in USA jeans became a pawn in Trump's trade war provided by Bloomberg. The company has since introduced a new tagline, Live in Levis, increased its ad spending and bought the naming rights to the San Francisco 49ers Stadium, the site of the Super Bowl in 2016. It has also made big reductions to its staff, cut its debt and invested in a local facility called the Eureka Innovation Lab. The company crucially, the company, which still makes most of its revenue through wholesale channels like department stores, has sought to lift sales through its own shops and websites in recent years. Last year, Levis has also been expanding in tops U, which accounted for 20% of sales last year, U, and women's apparel, which increased to 29% of its sales last year. The company has been, while Levis has benefited from the work Mr. Berg has done, it has also been helped by a tide back to denim, Ms. Driscoll said. Other companies have, since the economic collapse in 2008 to 2010, that whole period, Using expensive apparel to communicate who you are just isn't as cool as it was, Ms. Driscoll said. One of the biggest challenges that Mr. Berg and Levis have faced in recent years has been the boom in the almighty yoga pant. Course-I research, it drives me crazy that women wear yoga pants to nice restaurants. Your denim would look so much better, Mr. Berg wrote for Harvard Business Review last year. But they're choosing the company sought to convey its trendiness in its regulatory filings this month. It described how this week's offering gives the company and its owners some new flexibility, said Mike Zuccaro, a Moody's analyst. Mr. Zuccaro, he added, the challenges are still there in U.S. retail and everywhere, really, but it says a lot about what Levis has been able to do in that environment. Stephen Grosser contributed reporting.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.